Hello, future millionaires and billionaires. Once again, I'm sitting with the wonderful Soulfairy 23, which you all love, and you have a name actually. Everyone calls you Soulfairy.
Everyone calls me Soulfairy.
I call you Soulfairy. I tell like, okay, but we can't be your name can't be Soulfairy.
No. So my name is Rochelle, but as a teenager I had the nickname Soul. So I just became the Soulfairy.
You're the fairy of finance. And today, guys, I'm talking to Soulfairy, discussing investing, discussing saving money, managing your money, and her story and how she feels about the year 2022 in the finances. Breathe in, my friend.
I am breathing.
Because 2022 was showing us flames.
Kuraf.
Yeah. Good enough, guys. But guys, this is the Investor Chair, proudly sponsored by Sandrick. Do remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and tell us what you think about today's episode. Without wasting any time, guys, let's get into today's video. Soulfairy, we are sitting once again, actually for the third time. Because we had the episode for last season, then we recorded the episode for this season, but ESCOM happened, and we're recording again.
Unfortunately, ESCOM happens to everybody.
And that's another pandemic on its own.
It really is.
But we're here now. ESCOM is playing, your house is hosting us very well, the lighting is perfect.
Yay!
We're not having any issues. Now let's get to the number one question. I always ask this question. I think you're getting tired of me asking you this question. But for the audience that doesn't know you, Soulfairy, who is Soulfairy? And how do you best describe yourself as someone who is in the financial education space?
Okay, so I always start, Ivan, by describing myself as a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, and I'm an investor. Okay, I do not define myself by my work title. Working is something that I do. Teaching financial education is what I love. It doesn't feel like work. So I'm a very simple girl. I come from Bishop Lavis on the Cape Flats. That's where I grew up, made my way all the way, to the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ and now the Australian stock market. But I am a simple person who is trying to simplify saving and investing and financial principles for people who look like me and who come from where I come from and everybody in between.
Yeah, I love the fact, I always love it when someone starts with defining themselves with their family. Because when you're in this journey of creating wealth, what are you creating it for? What are you creating? What is the what when you say intergenerational wealth? Is that the word intergenerational
wealth?
So your family is what you're creating it for. You're saving for them, you're investing for them.
Yes.
And you're doing all of this for them. So
Definitely.
I love that. And today, my friend, I know before we have had an episode, we talked about your background. And those who want to talk, watch it, I'll put it somewhere here on top. You can go watch it. Where Soulfairy shared her entire background, how it influenced, how she sees money today. But today I want to talk about another element of your side. Because we know you as the queen of research. You say, do your work. Research a company. Understand everything a company. Know the income and everything.
Yes.
Know the leader. You are the queen of do your research in anything you want to invest into.
Yes.
And I think to this episode, we want to give light to those who are new into investing, those who already are investing, don't understand more about researching stocks, investing, researching ETF, researching where you put your money in. We will be talking about that today.
Okay. So let's simplify it, Ivan. You have to understand what you are investing in. It is the overarching principle for me is how does a company make money? I must be able to wake you up at 2:00 in the morning, point to a company in your portfolio and say, how does this company make money? What comes in, what goes out, how do I get a profit? If I wake you up and I say, where is the growth going to come from? If you are investing in a company or in an ETF, if I tell you, where is the growth going to come from? The only way you can answer that question is by knowing that business inside out. You need to, I sometimes tell people, and like I am a very sometimes sarcastic person, is Some of the companies that I invest in, I know better than the people who work there.
Yeah.
Okay? And that is how well you must know a company.
Yeah.
When it comes to ETFs, ETFs, they are just baskets of shares that is either passively or actively managed. The Satrix ETFs are passively managed, which means, let's make an example, the JSE Top 40 ETF from Satrix. That ETF has the top 40 companies at always inside it. So every month, let's say one company falls out, one company comes in, Satrix will just rebalance the ETF at a certain point in time. That's passive ETFs. Then you get active ETFs where they buy and sell based on the prices. So there are managers sitting inside those funds, and on a daily basis, they decide what are they going to buy, what are they going to sell, what are they going to buy, what are they going to sell. An active ETF is more expensive because you can now there's a lot of work going into it. The beautiful thing about a passive ETF is that if you are investing in the top 40, the top of anything means you're getting quality. Okay? If you are investing in the S&P 500, you're getting the top 500 companies. The NASDAQ 100, you're getting the top 100 companies. You know, the Resi 10, you're getting the top 10 resources companies. And if you struggle with research, start with an ETF and look at what are the top companies in the ETF and start researching them. Look at how Sasol makes money. Look at how Kumba makes money. Look at how, start with what is quality. I know there are a lot of penny stock investors, but it's very high risk for new investors because it's a little bit of a gamble, because you're trying to buy something for 5 cents and sell it for 10 cents. And it's not that simple because you are just looking at a share price. You're not looking at the business. You could make a fatal investing mistake.
And I want just to add in that point of penny stocks as well. Majority of penny stock companies are very small. So when you're doing research, it's very hard to fully understand such a penny stock company. So someone that's looking to enter into the investment world and start with penny stock, they're killing themselves, basically.
Yes.
And I always say that if you're going to enter investing, start where you feel more comfortable, as you say.
Yes, start with companies also that you know and use and love. If everybody uses ShopRite, whether you go to YouSave or whether you go to Checkers or whether you actually use ShopRite as the brand, you know the company. It's easier to research. Why would you start with a company you've never even heard the name of? Now you see somebody posting something on social media and you just want to jump on a bus. There's no free lunch in the stock market. If somebody posts about a stock and they are 100, 200% up, that person bought low and is selling high. That's the rule of the stock market, guys, is buy low, sell high. Now, if Soul posts her 300% gains, you are going to buy high. Where are you selling? What's your plan? Where are you going to sell? Because if you buy high, you're going to sell low. There's no such rule as buy high, sell higher. You made it up yourself.
That's so true. And I want to touch on a point and go back to the conversation we had of air, right? Around the idea that people just copy what Americans are doing. They see this American influencer from the space that is showing his big car, is bought Tesla shares. Now you also want to buy Tesla shares. You have no proper research. My friend, that's actually the danger of that.
It's very, very dangerous. So, you and me spoke last year about how we are not investing in the Australian stock market. And our main reason for not investing in it was because we don't understand the macroeconomic environment. We don't understand the consumer behavior in that country. Okay? And that is why it's very dangerous for South African investors to copy. You can follow American Twitter, Twitter people, but to copy exactly what they are doing is very dangerous because you don't understand. You can't apply their macroeconomic rules to our environment. If you just think about how our interest rates work, is we have a repo rate that is set by the Reserve Bank, the Monetary Policy Committee, and then what they do is the banks add 3.5% to that, then we get a prime rate, and then based on your risk, how low risk or how risk or your credit score, etc., you get an interest rate for any asset finance or general finance that you need. That's how our interest rate system works. It doesn't work like that in the United States. They don't have a repo rate and a prime rate. They will never invest in bonds because their bond yield rates, because they have a 10-year bond yield rate, a 5-year, they have different rates and it's a completely different environment. So when an American FinTwitter person tells you, you are stupid for investing in bonds, the South African National Treasury is paying me 11% at the moment for my 5-year government bond. And it is an amazing rate. But the thing is, you don't know that our 11% is 2% or 3% in the United States. So they are right, but they are not right for South Africa. The context is absolutely wrong.
And when it comes to research, that's the most important thing, because even when you are reading the source, I remember you mentioned this in the past, even the source you are reading, you must be mindful.
Yes.
Because they are writing from the idea and the context of that specific
Yes.
area they're in. You are in South Africa, the context is different.
It is.
And that's why I think it goes back to your point, be comfortable who you are, be comfortable to do the work and understand the research. My friend, let's stay within research. But I want your top 2 tools you use to ensure you understand every company that you have and you track everything correctly. What are those 2 that you say majority of South African retailers are sleeping on in terms of understanding and doing research in the companies they have and also tracking them?
So, Ivan, there is an information overload on the internet, and it is very, very difficult for new investors to know what they can trust and what they can't trust. So the first thing I'm going to give you guys is something that you can trust with all of your being. If you want to research a company, let's start with a company before we go to the ETFs, because it is exactly the same process. If you want to research a company, you type in on Google the company's name, add the words investor relations. So if it's Tesla, investor relations. If it is Amazon, investor relations. The very first page that comes up on Google is where you start your research. The reason that I'm saying that is the investor relations page of any company, South African or any company in the world, that page is not maintained by the company themselves. In South Africa, we have what we call a JSE sponsor. So the JSE sponsor is like an agent for the JSE. So they make sure, because the JSE needs to protect investors. That's why they don't allow, you can just put anything on there and tell lies, So the JSE sponsor maintains that section of a company's website. The information is factual. It is correct. It is objective. It has been audited. So you can trust that. And the reason why I want people to start there is start with the facts, okay? Because if you are first going to go to Seeking Alpha, or you're going to go to Yahoo, or you're going to go to any other website where a journalist or an influencer or a content creator, they wrote their opinion of the company, then what you're going to do, everything you do after that, is you're going to try to prove that writer either right or wrong. So you no longer remain objective in your research, because you're going to be like, like if somebody says, for instance, Tesla sales is going to go down, or Tesla's closing a factory in China and this is going to happen. You're going to search for that information now on Tesla's website. You don't remain objective. Look at the sales growth, look at the revenue, look at the GP growth, look at the profits and the losses, look at how much Elon is planning on investing in CapEx, etc. Okay? So if you are investing in single stocks, you always start with the investor relations page. For ETFs, you go in, if you know the ETF that you're looking for, type in the ETF name. If it is the Satrix JSE Top 40, that's the ETF you're looking for. You maybe heard about it on social media. Somebody gave you a tip or a clue or a hint somewhere. Type in the name of the ETF and add the words minimum disclosure document. The very first thing that comes up on Google is going to be a PDF. Always. Always going to be a PDF. That is what you're looking for. That document is going to have the ETF strategy. It's going to have all the costs. It's going to tell you whether the ETF, what the ETF is tracking. Okay? What is this ETF? What is Satrix doing? It's going to have the costs. It's going to have the historical performance. It's going to have everything that you need for that ETF. And you can make a decision, is this ETF right for me? So I want people to start with the right information. There's nothing wrong by getting an opinion from somebody else that you trust later on, but make your own decision first. Do not blame content creators or influencers or journalists for your wrong investing decisions. That's not fair.
I think goes back to I know I'm a law student, right? But it goes back. My brother goes back to my one of my lectures in my first year when I was starting to write academic essays. Like primary source first,
Yes.
which is what you have said.
Yes.
The secondary and tertiary source come later. Support what you already know, which is primary.
Yes.
And you just gave us the primary tool to understanding stocks and understanding
ETFs.
And when you add later is
Secondary.
So what is there? What is
Yes.
actual fact?
Now, and if you also don't understand something in the primary source, you know, a lot of people go to other people and they say, hey, what must I invest in? I can't tell you. I can't tell you what to invest in because I don't understand your risk appetite. I don't understand your time horizon. None of that. If somebody comes to me and says, I've looked at the Resi 10 ETF, and I already have Sibanye and Kumba in my portfolio, but I see it's also in the ETF. Do you think I should still buy the ETF, maybe in my tax-free savings account? Now I can help you. We are having a two-way conversation. You actually prove to me you've done you've done the work. You just need help making an informed decision, and you're asking my opinion. Now I can tell you maybe, how much do you love mining? Do you believe that, you know, you are okay with being overexposed to Kumba or overexposed to Sibanye Stillwater? And then you say, yes, because I believe in those companies. I'll put the ETF maybe in my tax-free savings account. I'll buy the single stocks. It's a much more constructive conversation than asking somebody, hey, what do you think I must invest in? I don't know.
You don't even know that person. You don't even know the type of investor they are, what their risk appetite is.
I don't know.
Because we and you are in Twitter, we are on TikTok, we sell off more jump to them like, hey, what must I buy first? I'm like, do you understand the type of investor you are? Do you understand your risk appetite, your circumstances? You may be a single mother that has 2 kids to support. You don't be the same as me. I'm Ivan. The only people I have to care about is me, myself, and I. So I can go and buy it, whatever stock it is, because I understand my risk appetite.
And the thing is, you are in your 20s. If you are giving somebody advice that's in their 50s, it's such a different risk environment that your mistake, you could, for instance, let's say you buy Renogen. Renogen has just started producing, you know. If something goes wrong, you have so much time to still correct that mistake. Somebody who's in their 50s or close to retirement, if something goes wrong with the project and they sink 100K or 200K, that's a fatal financial mistake. And I would never want to be in the position where I give blanket advice.
So true. And I love that, my friend. Now let's go into tracking your investments. Because you already gave us the primary source. Guys, I'm going to milk her. I am going to milk her today. I want all the information out. I want everything out. You now understand the primary source everyone to start with. Because we're going to say everyone must do it. We just gave them the primary source now. They know where to start. They already done their research. They already have their shares. They already have their ETF. Best way to track them, my friend.
The best way to track them is Google Sheets.
Yeah.
So you need to create. So a lot of us have the Satrix app.
Yeah.
We have other investing apps, like multiple investing apps where we could buy shares, ETFs, a little bit of crypto, everything. Now, you can't open 4, 5, 6 apps a day. You also should not be opening your apps every day if you are an investor. But what you can do is you can create a Google Sheet and put all your shares in one place. So you list all the companies. You put in the number of shares that you have, you put in the cost price. The spreadsheet will automatically, every time you open it or refresh it, it will update your crypto prices, your ETF prices, your share prices, everything in one place. And it's very, very simple to set up. It even gives you the exchange rate on the day. So if you have US stocks and you need to convert them into Rand, because let's say you have $100 in your US portfolio, you need to know, I paid 16 Rand for these dollars. The dollars are now 17 Rand 80. So a part of my profit is actually a currency gain. It's not the share that went up. It's very, very important. And Google Sheets is probably the only app that I open on a daily basis. Is I just go in there whenever I buy. I go in there, and the thing is, what I'm also doing is I have multiple portfolios. I have a portfolio for my wife, a portfolio for my daughter, for myself, and for my helper, and for my godchildren. So I need to see all those portfolios in one place. So doesn't matter where it is. Everything is on Google Sheets, and I can say, okay, the kids have this much, we have this much, etc., etc. You can create beautiful graphs for yourself. It's a very useful tool. All the information is there.
Guys, you see why I need to have it again for season 2? Because I have never used Google Sheet for that, my friend. I use it for schoolwork. I'm done. Schoolwork, I'm done. You can do it there.
Yes, it updates the share prices live for you at any point in time. And all share prices, doesn't matter if it's British stocks, if it's ETFs, if it's ETNs, if it is cryptocurrencies, it doesn't matter what it is. It updates the share price live, the prices live.
You live and learn every single day. I've been investing for a while. I have never used Google Sheet. I have never. Never in my life.
You have to.
You're the first person, my friend, you have your YouTube channel. Please create a video, a tutorial video. Show us your ways.
Okay, I will do a tutorial, and I will show you guys how to put in your stocks, your ETFs, the exchange rate, everything onto Google Sheets.
Because I'm learning. I don't want to lie, guys. I am learning. Because I use Investing.com. That's what I use to track everything.
But the problem with Investing.com, I love Investing.com. That's my other one, is I have all my shares, but you can track the daily share prices. You don't put in your number of shares. Nobody does all of that on Investing.com. They just put in the daily prices. The other thing about that I love about Investing.com is my watch list.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very, very useful tool to track your watch list. And I'm not a paid subscriber, though. I know that the paid option, I don't like to pay for stuff. I like free things. I like the free side. But what you can also do on Investing.com is that I love is setting price alerts. So if you know you want to buy, let's say, the ETF and it's 45 Rand and you're like, I want to go in around 39, 40, then go and put in. Give me an alert if the price goes under that, and make sure that you have a little bit of cash on the side, so that when you get that alert, you can actually, even if you buy 100 Rand, 200 Rand, 300 Rand, that's a very useful tool, is Investing.com.
That's wonderful, my friend. You always give us diamonds. You always give us gems there and there and there and there. But I don't want the interview, the conversation to be long, my friend, because it's getting darker. But I want to ask you 3 questions. The first one, your top 3 ETF from Centric. What are you loving there?
So for me, I've spoken about it a lot. It's the Resi 10. I absolutely love mining companies, resources companies. The resources companies in South Africa have exceptional management teams. Okay, we know that resources is cyclical. That's just how it is. But we are a resource-rich continent, and I'm a very patriotic person. I admit it. I sometimes invest with my heart. Okay, and Africa is a resource-rich continent. So for me, one of the most beautiful ETF Satrix ever created was the Resi 10. So that is just every single year I max it out in my tax-free savings account. The next one is I love tech, and I'm a bit of a medium to high risk investor. So the Satrix NASDAQ 100, the NASDAQ is very tech heavy. So for me, the NASDAQ 100 from Satrix, absolutely love it. And then the last one that I consistently buy is the S&P 500 because it's so diversified. There are Chinese companies in there that's listed in the US. There are so many companies listed in the United States and in other countries that's in the S&P 500. So I always try to put as much money as I can into the S&P 500. That's also the index that everybody compares themselves against. So owning the index, owning the S&P 500 for me, it feels like that's the standard.
Owning the standard.
I know you only asked for 3, but going forward, I really, really want to expose, especially in my daughter's portfolio, we need to buy a little bit more of the emerging world ETF. So maybe, maybe the China one. I know everybody hates China right now, but again, guys, the world is, the stock market, everything is cyclical. Don't get depressed when things are down. Millionaires and billionaires are made during recessions. They are not made during bull markets. So it's not nice seeing your portfolio in the red, but look at it from a different angle. Look at it as an opportunity. So I tell all my students, heads down and build. Right now, we are building and we are not looking. We have our own portfolio allocations. Everybody has their own unique portfolio. If you need 100 shares of NEO, that's your target. If you need 50 shares in the S&P 500, buy those. That's your target. Leave social media alone. You can read, you can play there, you can make jokes, whatever what you want to do, but focus on your plan. Because guess what? You are going to look like a genius in the next bull run.
Yeah, very true. And I'm thankful you didn't mention the top 40 JSE because every guest I have starts to do it. So first of all, thank you for mentioning it. I'm like, does everyone in the Centric app just go in there, download the app, and the first thing they buy, top 40 ETF? I'm like,
there's a reason I don't, and a lot of people don't know it, is that many people don't know what their provident funds invest in. And I know my provident fund is very heavy on the Satrix top 40. So if I duplicate what my provident fund is doing in my discretionary investments, that's not diversification. It's actually diversification.
So basically, you're just buying the same. You put yourself in the risk because you're already
yes.
There.
So that's
now your own money, you're gonna be there.
It's not that I don't like the top 40. I love the top 40, but my provident fund is already doing it, so I need to do something else.
Oh, I love my friend. And guys, do remember that the Centrix app has all the ETF we just mentioned, all the ETF we just talked about, and also, guys, it's affordable. It's the cheapest ETF out there in the market. So download the app. The link is in the description. Friend, this question may be hurting your feelings. I'm going to ask it. What? How are you feeling about 2022 in the market?
2022.
Are you feeling that great, my friend?
Yes, it was.
My friend, let me tell you this. I'm a growth investor. I don't look.
And you should be.
I don't look for dividends. So I don't look for dividends. I look for growth companies. I look for ETFs who are all about growth. But as growth investors, we're feeling the pain this year.
And you should feel the pain. Guys, you have to pay your school fees. You have to, in the market, it's the one place where it has to hurt.
Yeah.
At some point, it cannot be all moonshine and roses, okay? The people who are not giving up right now, as I said, they're going to look like geniuses in a few years.
Oh, so true.
So 2022 was a rough year for everybody's portfolios, okay? The United States printed us into inflation, okay? We never thought Putin was going to invade Russia. Crazy man invade Ukraine.
Yeah.
He invaded Ukraine. What did that cause? Global supply chain issues. We don't want to admit it, but we are in a recession,
Yes.
okay? The only thing we can do right now is say, yes, it sucks, but I am getting, buying Amazon, for instance, at 2019 prices. How can you not see it as an opportunity? How can you be sad about that? Yes, you might have bought Amazon high. You have the opportunity because you loved it high.
Yeah.
You should love it low. You should. That's yes.
Black Friday
It's
for
a
you.
it's really a discount. So it's all about mindset. It really is about how you look at it because you can recover from this. I know a lot of people started investing in 2021 when prices were really high, and now they're seeing like real reds in their portfolios. The worst thing you can do is give up.
Yeah.
Ask for help. If you've made mistakes and you don't know what mistakes you've made, ask for help. Because I know the biggest mistakes that people who have reached out to me have made is they don't know what they own. They don't know the companies and the ETFs in their portfolios. I have people who have 12 ETFs in their portfolios. And I'm like, who needs 12 ETFs in their portfolio? You are over diversified. And the only reason people did that was because they saw somebody else had it. You just like you need a stock strategy, you need an ETF strategy.
And no one talks about that actually.
You do. You need an
When it
ETF
comes to ETF,
strategy.
people talk, I'm just diversifying, I'm buying ETF for diversification. They don't talk about
You-
you need to have a strategy. as
You
well
need
there.
to be intentional with your ETFs. You have to be very, very intentional with your stocks. If you are a growth stock investor, doesn't mean you don't buy dividend stocks. It doesn't mean you don't buy value stocks. It just means you allocate a higher percentage of your money into growth. If you are investing into ETFs, ask yourself, what is my vision for my ETF portfolio? Do I want to get dividends from it? Do I want to really get the maximum tax benefit out of my ETF strategy? So I will buy growth ETFs. I will buy, like you could buy an ETF that's focused on growth. You could buy emerging world ETFs. You could buy an ETF that's maybe specific to a specific industry that you really, really love. So people need to start being intentional with their ETF strategies. You can't just buy it like you are in a grocery store, because you can't have two ETFs that's tracking exactly the same thing. And so many people have 3 to 4 ETFs in their portfolio. If you look at the top 10 companies in those ETFs, all of them have the same companies. All of them have Apple, Google, and I'm like, why do you need 3 companies that has exposure to Apple, 3 ETFs that has exposure to Apple, and you own Apple?
That is
On its own.
of those ETF as well.
Yep, it's you have to be intentional about your ETF strategy and set a management fee that you are comfortable with. For me, I always say I don't like paying more than 1%, and I don't think there's a single Satrix ETF. I have to double check, but none that I have that has a management fee over 1%.
And that's why they're the best. My friend, last question in closing. What can you expect from me? Because I know you said you're a lover of teaching.
Yes.
You're a lover of sharing information. Next year in time, 2023. Actually, this video goes out in 2023. So now, my friend, in 2023, what can you expect from you?
Okay, so there is I'm really going to focus on beginner investors. I think I've helped a lot of people this year who are intermediate and advanced investors. There's still some advanced courses that I want to put out, but I really want to tap into those who haven't started. So I'm working on a strategy, it's still a little bit early days to say exactly how it's going to work, but I am tapping into the people who have not started investing and creating as much free educational content, and updating my website with as much free content as possible. And I want to give people access to me. I think that's one of the most important things, is putting out as much content as I can, quality content, and also for it to be more focused. The year that's past, 2021 and 2022, I was really, trying to speak to everybody, to be there for everybody. But there's a forgotten piece of the nation. People who have very little money, people who can't afford financial advice, etc., etc. And there's a way to tap into them, and that's what I'm very focused on working on over the next couple of months, is how do I reach those people? How do I reach the people who only have 100 Rand? They can't afford to pay somebody 5,000 Rand for a financial plan. So you can, there's various ways and means of reaching them, and then maybe 2024, 2025, you might see me at some after-school programs for children and financial, because I want to take financial education into schools, but it's not something that the Department of Education is ready for. So we are going to have to do it in a very, very creative way, because we cannot have matriculants and grade 10s and 11s and 12s who do not know what compound interest is, who do not know what a dividend is, who cannot draw up a budget, who does not know what good debt versus bad debt is, who doesn't even know what a credit score is. That is the ultimate goal, is reaching our children before they make fatal financial mistakes.
I love that. And I love the fact that in every idea and plan that you're talking about keywords: free, easy, accessible, as well as easy to understand. That's wonderful, my friend. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Supporting you and ensure that you push those goals and you achieve them, my friend. But thank you so much, number one, for willing to come to Investor Chair and share your story again, share your tips, your information, and all of that. Number one, thank you for that. Number two, thank you for allowing me to record for the second time with you, because Esco was showing me flame the first time when recording. So thank you so much, my friend, for allowing me to come and record again, and I appreciate you, my friend, for that. And guys, I will put all the link to all her social media platform and her website in the description of this video. It was amazing recording with you, my friend. Looking forward to all those amazing plans. But guys, do remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on notification bell so don't miss any episode of the Investor Chair. Today I was sitting with the wonderful Soulfairy, proudly sponsored by Centric. Download the app in the description of this video. As always, guys, I am Ivan Sambu, your student investor. Thank you so much for watching.